where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
With the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.
In this segment, we're going to be referring to the book of The Conversation, and the chapter is As the Colorado River Slowly Dries Up, States Angle for Influence Over Future Water Rights. And our translator is Sarah Porter. The wars of the 21st century will be fought over water. That is by Ismail Sarageldin. Some of the world's largest investment banks have already spent hundreds of millions on water claims. Many, including UBS and Bank of America, are buying up farms and other lands that come with water claims attached. This is a quote by Mia DeFelice and Ben Murray of the foodandwaterwatch.org. That was from September 14th, 2023. There appears to be this understanding that citizens of the United States have, where a lot of us believe that our government will always uphold some degree of our needs as humans. But I really want you guys to imagine something. A politician calls the local news or the social media platform to ask that they explain to the particular locals the new water reservation initiative and help people understand why their homes are given water rations that will require everyone to flush the toilet 3 times a day or less. And the idea here is that the water conservation measures, or the water reservation methods or measures, are going to be in place until further notice. Now, this scenario is interesting because I have a few predictions that are a few alternative predictions that may be likely or even more likely than what we're seeing here, in terms of when a particular locality is faced with the idea of limited water supply. First, I want to say that if you're in like the rich segments of town, they will not have to worry about the same things that we have to worry about at the same times that we have to worry about them. Okay? Second, the politicians, they may just be naturally hesitant to rely on tech companies to notify the public about a shortage of water supply when the tech companies are building data centers that very much contribute to the shortage of water. Third, the politicians can very well just try to figure out how to hold out in terms of for re-election, so just not say anything. And fourth, the privatization companies, they could lobby the politicians and even just delay the spreading of information in general while they figure out how to make their shareholders happy and essentially sell to some kind of private equity company that can sell the spare parts or make money off the spare parts. And the fifth, in terms of back to my particular predictions, the politicians, they'll just loot what they can and they'll get with their rich friends or other politicians to abandon ship before the citizens notice that they are drinking water directly from the sewage treatment facility. Given the status of things today, I'd say that one or a mixture of these predictions may come true. But it's important to note some people may call me a pessimist and say that I should trust the government more. And I mean, I don't. I'm not really gonna tell people that they should trust the government more in a lot of situations. I'm definitely not the advocate for that. But when it comes down to this particular chapter, Sarah Porter, regardless of whether she agrees with the particular predictions that I laid out here or not, I think she does give us more insight into the problem of water rights and water shortage in general. Okay? She talks about how the Colorado River and many of the reservoirs that essentially get water from the Colorado River have become really low enough for states and Mexico, actual country Mexico, to begin to worry about how much water they are entitled to under the law. Okay? This is a quote directly from the article. Over the last 25 years, the quantity of water stored in Lake Mead and Lake Powell has declined significantly. Our primary driver of this decline is a lengthy drought is a lengthy drought likely amplified by climate change. One study estimated that the region may be suffering its driest spell in 1,200 years. Now, the states and Mexico have signed this document that states the amount of river flow to be maintained, but there seems to be some kind of discrepancy coming about, right, in terms of who's responsible for what and what their interpretations are of that particular treaty. And this is leading to essentially them people trying to say, okay, you get this much, you get this much, you get this much, whatever. But we're in a situation now where farmers in Arizona are worried they'll have enough water for the winter crops that help feed the entire country. It sounds already like we need a collective understanding of the scenario and of the particular of what we do now, right? Because we don't have that understanding in society that water may not always be readily available the way it is now, and maybe we should work on that. Politicians, in my opinion, should already be sounding the alarm. When it comes down to this particular idea of a renaissance, we need to develop real awareness of the cost of water. And Benjamin Franklin is quoted as saying, "When the well is dry, we know the worth of water." And it's important because we won't really we won't want to appreciate what we have now in retrospect. I want you guys to understand something. This is going into the astrological stuff. America has a very strong Cancer signature, okay? Cancer represents a spectrum of things, but for here we're going to talk about the idea of it representing water. In terms of being forced to confront the issues of water and our health as a nation being very much dependent on its availability, we could be more likely to see scenarios to where we have to act around the idea of water. In the Foundry, I'm very much interested in creating a system, particularly, I would say, that eliminates the black water in general, right? And what I really want to look for is developing a system around essentially processing human ore for particular things, but we'll have to. There's so much involved with this. It's not just as simple as, the collection of the actual, the waste in that particular regard. It's also regarding around like a lot of our waste isn't really healthy, honestly, because of how much what we consume and how we consume it. So this works in a system, but when it comes down to eliminating the black water in general, the system toilet use accounts for apparently around 30% of our water already. I got that from AI from Google. And that is very much telling in itself in terms of that amount of water, but also I want you guys to understand that if you're able to eliminate black water, this lifts a heavy burden off of really our sewage treatment facilities, right? And it could also allow for and facilitate more initiatives around reusing water, right? And keeping water circulating through for more cycles, for more uses in a lot of cases. This is something that we may very much need to get into an understanding with in terms of the way we use water and the way things are now and versus the way things are now. Like I said, it's complicated, but regardless of if you're, say, hey man, Sleepy the Foundry is BS, let's try this, do that. By all means, do that, whatever that is. But think about the long term. Think about how we treat water and what we do, and think about how sustainable it is and what is required for it to remain that way. In any case, I really want you guys to understand that we can't keep this up, okay? When it comes down to the idea and the concept of a water war, that is a complete and utter failure that we would be treated as in terms of the descendants, how they look at this particular generation. We would be treated as absolute failures.
Where those who perceive truth may strive to make others see.
A big, powerful America, and shoot them for what?
On that continent, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other.
With the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that.